Welcome back to Featured Founders. This week we've got two fourth years who are, a company called Dream. So we've got Rylan Birchmeyer and Alexander Halpern, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves, like who you are? Who am I talking to today?
Sounds good.
Hi, I'm Alexander. I'm a fourth year at UVA studying computer science. This past summer I was working at Amazon as a software engineer, and then Ryland and I started working on a project about 5 or 6 months ago, and then we've been working on the company ever since.
Yeah, I'm Ryland, also fourth year, computer science major in the engineering school. I've been programming since as long as I can remember, and I always wanted to start a company, so excited to do that now. I worked at XAI last year, and now we're doing this.
Cool. So you're responsible for Mecha Grok?
Well, I wasn't. No, that wasn't me. But yeah.
So tell me about Dream, you guys. Your dreams and also the company Dream. So, but more specifically, the company. Tell us, like, what is it in a few sentences? How would you explain it to the random people walking by here on Elliowood?
Sounds good.
Yeah, we work with freight forwarders, and a lot of freight forwarders, they take in so many emails. We've talked, various people in logistics take in lots of emails. We talked to one warehouse; they do 175,000 emails a week, actually. And with freight forwarders specifically, these are invoices from vendors which they work with. These are requests for quotes, and then various customer inquiries such as like, "Where's my package?" or like, "Where's the delivery? What's the status of this thing?" And they have people who their whole job is to manage these emails. For example, the company we're working with right now, they have 2 people full-time reviewing invoices.
Sure.
And so any help they can get there is good. And so we automate a lot of their emails with large language models. And so they can basically tell Dream in natural language. We write out a big paragraph, basically, of how to do it.
Yeah.
And they say, please check the shipment reference number, the transfer booking number, find the vendor award in our Dropbox and make sure the amount matches. And then if something's wrong, then Dream is able to actually email back the vendor for them, letting them know proactively that their invoice is incorrect and they need to resolve it before the team has to take a look at it. So it saves them a bunch of time on the invoice intake and then hopefully other workflows too. Yeah.
Cool. So for those who are watching who don't know what freight forwarding is, what's the 2-second intro to what that is?
Yeah, so basically freight forwarding is an industry where they're managing shipments for a client, and usually it's overseas to the U.S. So, for example, a shipment will come in from China to the U.S., and freight forwarders usually don't own a ton of assets like trucks or like planes or boats, but they contract out to these organizations to deal with the shipments, and they manage the whole process of getting these packages, these containers into the U.S.
Cool. Yeah. So did you guys go into this when you identified this problem? Right? Did you go into this thinking, you're going to build an AI first thing, or was it just how do we solve this problem?
We actually just started talking to warehouses in Virginia. We initially thought we wanted to work with third-party logistics companies. So they're like warehouses that store goods for companies.
Sure.
And we talked to some of them. We found some things, but they weren't as immediately obvious to us. But we liked the area of logistics, and we learned about freight brokerage. It's more like domestic.
Yeah.
And eventually we stumbled into freight forwarding, and we found a company local in Charlottesville.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't necessarily think we wanted to build an AI product. We had built AI product before.
Okay.
But it just so happened that this seemed like a very good way to solve their problem, like a very clear way to do it. And so that is why it uses AI. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's something like unique or interesting about the space thing you guys discovered as like part of your discovery process?
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't think Roland and I knew too much about the space before we entered it. So we learned a ton. So we went around to warehouses and freight forwarders, as Roland mentioned. And I would say the main thing is, so did we mention emails? I guess basically they get a ton of emails in, and they're just reliant on older systems, and especially they're reliant on, so like they'll hire truck companies, and there's no like universal technology that centralizes all of the logistics industry because it's so big. So it's very fragmented. I would say that's something I learned.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think like just to add on to that, the fragmentation is like a core reason why it seems like email is so prevalent. It's because everybody can guarantee that somebody else has email. And it's not even the worst primitive to build on. Like it kind of makes sense that you would use something so general.
Sure.
But then from the freight forwarder's perspective, it's like if they have something that they can use to then like organize that obviously general thing into something that makes more sense for them, that's where I think utility comes. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So if there was any learnings or tips that you could share with fellow students who are like on the journey too, building a startup that you've come across, is there anything that comes to mind?
I would say there's a lot. Yeah. I would say definitely we learned to really start with the problem, because it's easy to get wrapped up in the solution or think about a solution before you really understand the problem. And we made sure actually to take some time before, like we went into these places, we learned about the problem, but we actually specifically said like we're not going to build anything for a few weeks, just so we didn't like jump the gun into building a solution. So I think that's one thing.
Yeah, it is so easy to get caught up in thinking you're building something that provides no value.
Oh, right.
And
Been there.
Yeah, I think for this particular product, we would have never been able to think of this just like sitting in our rooms. There's a zero chance.
Yeah.
So every single feature is directly from they need this particular thing now, and so then we go build it.
Exactly.
And yeah, it seems like that works pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great lesson. You know, there's so many times that people go out and they have a hunch and they start building something before they ever talk to a customer, only to realize that, you know, the real world out there is way different than what you thought. And like,
For sure.
You were like,
at
2 a.m. on a Saturday, or whatever, you know. That's cool. So, what do you guys like? What's your vision for this? Where do you think this is going to go? Without showing any too much, you know, secret sauce or private details as your plan. You know?
No, it's not that private. I mean, I think we see a lot of opportunity, like Alexander was saying, to like unify a lot of like the intelligence and automation like within a particular freight forwarder.
Yeah.
We really like placing ourselves at the intake layer, because once you have all this data, it feels like there's lots of offshoots that we've had to stop ourselves from building actually, like too early almost. Because I think we see that a lot of the process, you know, freight forwarders, like I was in touch, they don't own a lot of assets, and so it's like a lot of the work is knowledge work. And if you can build something that really does more end-to-end freight, we're both excited about that. I think, for sure. Yeah,
we want to kind of get this wedge in. With the email intake layer, but then like on a very long time horizon, eventually maybe just like expanding into freight forwarding technology in general, and just like Ryland said, like making it more centralized, the technology.
Yeah.
Cool. So if there is one ask, and this will be the last question, if there's one ask that you could make of people watching, the audience, you know, the thousands of people that are in the Foundry and UVA ecosystem and community, what could they help you guys with?
Well, we would love to talk to any freight forwarders that you know of.
There you go.
That would be great.
Yes, that would be great.
We're still learning, and we love hearing from everybody. So yeah, anybody in the freight brokerage, freight forwarding industry especially,
cool.
Very interested.
Well, you heard it here first, guys and gals and everyone on the internet. If there's anyone in your ecosystem or in your orbit that's on in the freight forwarding space, let them know. So how can people find you?
Yeah, they can find us at pingdream.com.
Yeah, and we'll probably have like a LinkedIn at some point and other socials, but that's our website. You can book a meeting if you want.
Yeah,
like, there's a calendar on there.
We have a calendar.
All right, perfect. All right, well, this was great. Thank you, guys. This is amazing. Good luck with Dream, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it over the next few months.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah,
awesome.